What's going on YouTube? This is John from the Unhinged Zombie Hunter Clan, bringing you another up-to-date Ancient Gear deck profile with a twist. A lot of my friends have said at Zephyr, you can try this deck with any fusion spell, but I have found the best way to annihilate them on 2 turns, or give or take any other turn. So, without further ado, we shall go through the deck. Okay, so starting us off with, let's see, we'll go from the lowest to the highest. So, we'll start it off with the with the one card that starts off with fusions, Ancient Gear Hunting Hound. Like always, when you summon this card, it burns you for 600, plus you can use it to fuse with monsters on your field or your hand. So yeah, it's a polymerization in its own way, and it's a burner. Then after that, I run 3 copies of Ancient Gearbox. Now, I found a wicked combination with this card. If you use Gear Town and Gear Catapult, you summon Wyvern off a Catapult, then use Wyvern's ability by chaining it with Gear Towns, add in Box to your hand, and then chaining Box's effect with the next chain link, and then you get to add another monster with 500 attack points or 500 defense points. So, in a way, this kind of helps with the recycling. Plus, it helps if you add it back from your graveyard via Ancient Gear Workshop, which I will get to later. Next, I run 1 copy of Ancient Gear Ancient Gear Gadget. Ancient Gear Gadget Get, or whatever they call it. I just got the Ancient Gear Gadget. He can copy any effects. So if I was to use his effect to copy boxes, I'd get 2 draws mode. I'd get 2 draws for 500 attack or defense, which would double my chances, because with Box he has 500 attack points and 2,000 defense points. So the same with Gadgets. So it works in combination. Then for my next part of the Ancient Gears, which are my more powerful ones, I run 2 copies of Ancient Gear Soldier. So Ancient Gear Soldier, he basically is just there for my combatant. He's my combatant and an artillery expert. Ancient Gear Frame, I run at 3 because it helps to get Ancient Gear Golem to your hand a hell of a lot quicker. Hang on a minute, let me just organize this a little bit. Actually, what I might do really quickly while I do this is I'll put Ancient Gear Frame underneath Ancient Gear Soldier. Then you can see them all decent. So there, Ancient Gear Frame, as I said, lets you add either Ancient Gear Fusion if you have the card, or Ancient Gear Golem, or Ultimate Ancient Gear Golem. So in a way, he's a good searcher for the Ancient Gear stuff. Then the next of the Ancient Gears is Ancient Gear Knight. Now, I know he's a Gemini, so yeah, his effects do come in on his second turn, as then he's treated as Ancient Gear. So he still works with the deck, and he's there for the summonings and the fusion plays. After that, I do run, as I said, I'm gonna put I'll put these here. I run 3 copies of Ancient Gear Wyvern. Now, like I said, in combination with this card, you use Gear Catapult and Gear Town, use Gear Catapult to summon him, use him to add Box, and then use Box to add either Gadget or Frame or the Knight, and you're just set for the wins. And then for the level 5s, now this is, hang on, for my level 6, now this is the only level 6 I run in this deck, because I found that if I have a level 6, I might get a few extra points with the deck. So I just run the 1 Ancient Gear Beast. Now, everyone knows Ancient Gears negate all trap and spell cards from activating when it's during the battle phase. So it's a bloody good combo. And for my level 8s, not 1, not 2, but 3 Ancient Gear Golems. Now, like I've said, Ancient Gear Beast and Ancient Gear Golem can inflict piercing damage. I'm just going to read that to be on the safe side. No, I stand corrected. Beast doesn't inflict piercing damage, so ignore that part. But Ancient Gear Golem, if your monster's defense points are less and not greater than his attack points, then the extra damage is dealt to your opponent because he can inflict piercing, along with the last of the Ancient Gear monsters, the Ancient Gear Reactor Dragon. And Reactor Dragon's effect is even more busted because as soon as you summon it, or you've attacked with it, you can use its secondary effect to pop a card on the field. So, it's a quick way to just blow up your opponent's back row or their field. Right, enough with the monsters. I will now move on to the spells and trap. Well, the spells are the only trap I run with this deck, so let me just organize myself while I also get rid of that notification that just came up, sorry. Going in reverse, I do run 2 copies of Terraforming because Terraforming is still, even though I got semi-limited on the ban list, it's still the key card with this deck because of the field spell, which I still run at 3, which happens to be Gear Town. Now, Gear Town, like I said, in combination with Gear Catapult, you get 2 summons off of this card. So Catapult, you basically summon Wyvern, and with Gear Town, summon Reactor Dragon. You've basically got 2 ways to go. Next, I run 3 copies of Ancient Gear Fortress. Now, like I said, if you've got spells on the field already, you need to activate them before you use Summon Wyvern if you haven't got Gear Catapult in your hand to pop Gear Town. Because it doesn't work that way, because with Wyvern you cannot set any spells or trap cards, but you can still activate them as much. Right, moving on to the next of the spells, I run 3 copies of Gear Castle, Ancient Gear Castle. Now this card, it buffs up your Ancient Gear monster's attacks by 300, and it gains a counter for every summoned or set monster your opponent or you set or summon, and you contribute the card off to basically summon either Golem, Reactor Dragon, Beast. Yeah, you can use it to summon them, or you can use it to summon your lower level ones. It doesn't really matter. After that, like I said, you can't have Ancient Gear Town or Ancient Gear cards without the Ancient Gear Catapult. Like I said, use this in combination with Gear Town, use that to pop Gear Town, but you've got to control no monsters for this card to activate. So use its effect to pop that, use its effect to summon Wyvern, then use Wyvern's effect to add Barks, and then etc, etc. Then, when it's your main phase 2, and you've got a card you don't want on the field, use Gear Catapult's secondary effect by banishing the card, popping a card on yours or your field, and summoning a gear token, which I happen to have right here. So there's the Ancient Gear token. But yeah. And then the next of the spells, like I said, I do run 2 copies of Ancient Gear Workshop. And for the last of the revivals, I also run the 1 Monster Reborn. And the last staple, we all know what Monster Reborn does. It's a key staple, and I'm glad Konami brought it off the ban list. So yeah. Workshop just lets you add an Ancient Gear back from your grave. So if box is in your graveyard, you basically just bloody bring it back and activate its effect all over again. It's a recycling effect. And the next of the spells, which is in this deck, is the Limiter Removal, which doubles all the attack points of any Ancient Gear monster you have. Right, I haven't finished with the spells or the trap, got to the traps yet, because I was saving these ones for the grand occasion. Right, so for fusion spells, I run 1 Flash Fusion, and then I run 1 Super Polymerization, 1 Overload Fusion, and then 1 Power Bond, and then for the last of the fusions, I run 1 Necro Fusion. Now, here's how it works with the combinations. Power Bond, I can use that with Chaos Ancient Gear Giant to buff him up to 9k or 9300 in combination with Gear Castle. But we'd say Overload would let me summon another one. Super Poly just works in bloody weird ways. So yeah, Flash Fusion. This is what I've figured out. If I've got monsters on the field, so for example, if I've got 3 Ancient Gear monsters, use this to fusion summon Ancient Gear Mechaton Golem. At the end phase, after you've attacked with it, the card is destroyed. but then use Old Mechaton Golem's second effect to special summon from your extra deck Ultimate Ancient Gear Golem. It's just a busted play. You could literally just school anyone. Necrofusion lets you fusion summon from your graveyard, but you must banish the number of machines, the number of cards in order to summon the fusion monster you want, but you have to banish them face down, so that kind of doesn't help. Power Bond is just there to basically buff your monster's attack points up, but you do take burn damage. But I've learned that if your opponent's got weak cards on the field, that's an instant OTK right there. And then Overload just helps with the extra fusion by banishing stuff. And Super Poly is just basically there for absolutely mental plays, but we'll see about that afterwards. Right, for the extra deck, I do run still 3 copies of Ancient Gear Howitzer. Now, Howitzer still is one of my best burners because, like Hunting Hound, excuse me a minute, Hunting Hound only burns for 600. In combination with him, you could burn your opponent for 1600 if you've got Hunting Hound, because Howitzer, during your next every main phase you go to, he burns your opponent for at least 1,000 points of damage. And here's the best part: if the card is destroyed, you can summon an Ancient Gear Golem from your hand or deck. So it's a quick way to go into your boss monsters. Right, after Ancient Gear Howitzer, like I said originally, I do run the 3 Ultimate Ancient Gear Golems and the 1 Ancient Gear Mechaton Golem. Now, like I said, if he's destroyed during Flash Fusion's ending effect, bring him out to the field and you've got a 4400 attacker on the board. Especially if you use, limited removal to double his attacks. Or use Power Bond. It's one of those. It's a stupidly busted plays. And for the last of the extra deck, I do run not 1, not 2, but 3 of the Chaos... If I could get it off the floor. The 3 Chaos Ancient Gear Giants. Now, I've learned in combination with this card that if you use, say, 5 materials with Power Bond, you literally could get 5 attacks with this card, because for every special summoned monster your opponent controls, and it's an instant OTK. So with Power Bond, if you summon him, you fusion summon him, his attack is doubled by his original attack. So 45 plus 45 is 9k. Plus, if Gear Catapult does work with him, Gear Castle, sorry, not Catapult, you can double his attack. You can give him 300 more attacks, so he's a 9300 attacker, which blows your opponent's moves away. And as I said before, the 1 gear token. Right, that's it for the Ancient Gear deck profile. I hope this kind of helps you, any of you Ancient Gear players out there. Remember, this is still an early working build with me, so I'm still playtesting a lot more. But yeah. Let me know in the comments what you think to this deck. Do you like it? Do you not like it? If you are still trying to find this channel, please remember it is Unhinged space Zombie Hunter, which is one whole word. But if you have been a member with this channel for so long, please remember to leave a like, leave a comment with this channel, and I'll make sure to bring you more Yu-Gi-Oh! Deck profiles as opposed to all my gaming videos at the same time. So, ding! Also, feel free to check out the crew at Zephyr War Games, check out their Facebook page, check out their YouTube channel, and all that good stuff. I will leave a link in the description down below, and I think that's all there is to say. So don't forget to check out my survival guides on the Forest if you are still playing that still at £14 on PlayStation 3. Not PlayStation 3. Ignore that. On PlayStation 4, there is no physical copy on disc as far. There's going to be an update with new stuff in it on December the 10th. And with that, this is the Unhinged Zombie Hunter Satan. Well, John saying, keep dueling and enter the flames. Goodbye.